Welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. This is Kabusha, and the new patch dropped today. And what do we have here? The best of my ability to recreate the Nelson. They just put this ship hull in so you can kind of offset the superstructure to the rear. And it is still very difficult to build a Nelson class ship. Something reasonably looking like it. It's very hard to get all these turrets to fit and get the right superstructures to fit so you get a reasonable 4-weight offset. It's bad. It's I would say still probably not that usable, but you could kind of make it work now. It took a lot of futzing with different displacements and such, trying longer hull shapes versus shorter. The longer one looked better, but the layout was actually worse because the rear offset moves forward with the ship. Oh, all sorts of things like that. I think I've probably been working at this for about an hour now, making adjustments to finally get this ship mostly resembling its original. And part of it too is trying to go for the silhouette like the original Nelson. Didn't really have this top structure, but it did have a I just forgot what it was called, a conning tower that looked more like this. So, you know, there's been a little bit of messing around, a little bit of adjustments, just try to make things reasonable. Anyway, that said, we've got 16-inch guns and 3 triple turrets, all mounted forward with some abysmal arcs depending on where the turrets are. So bad. Reading, they experimented with light shells with these 16-inch guns before going to a heavier shell with their smaller 14 and 15-inch guns. So I went with light shells, and it was a toss-up between Cordite 1 and Cordite 2. Looking at the history of naval gunpowder for British, it seemed more likely to be using a Cordite 2, but I couldn't find anything definitive. I'm just having to do it by association, looking at when they're adopting certain powders at different or propellants at different eras. So just kind of the best I could. It said it was a breech loading gun, come to think of it, and I forgot to see hydraulic machinery. The only thing I really found was that they were breech loading guns. I would assume they're probably at least enhanced reloading, just for a little something there. And hydraulic turrets, I didn't really find much on the turrets as far as how they're being controlled, so we'll just go with hydraulic turrets. This was an earlier ship. I believe she's commissioned in like 1927 or so, and so she was a bit of an experiment, she and her sister. They did use the new all or nothing armor scheme for the British, and I've mostly replicated that there. 14-inch belt tapering to 11-inch extended. I do not know yet if they've fixed the armor model, but I believe right here is the break between the 3 centerline compartments. It might be right here. It's kind of vague. I haven't used this ship yet to see exactly where these turrets line up in relation to the compartments. So for now, reading the belt was anywhere from 14 to 11-inch belt, so I used that here, 14 to 11. 6.2-inch deck and 4.2-inch deck extended, again depending on where it was. But at least what I was reading, this was straight up an all or nothing ship. The areas that did not need to be armored, such as the stern of the ship, for example, it was straight up no armor. Reading the descriptions, it was just the hull plates, and that was essentially it. The secondaries were very lightly armored, only 1 inch on some 6-inch turrets. The turrets don't quite look right, but at least they fit. I was able to get it's a 4.7 or 4.8 inch AA guns. I was able to get the correct number on, not exactly right mounts, but it's just a matter of trying to get the correct numbers. And then some 2-inch guns to replicate the rest of the AA suite. It's fairly light on AA by comparison. Rangefinder. I did find some documentation stating that the British favored coincidence rangefinders while the Germans favored stereoscopic. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And reading, while there's nothing definitive about exactly which version, because these are so vague, they don't actually list a size, I'm assuming it's probably a coincidence rangefinder 3. She is somewhat criticized for having a fairly small rangefinder. I believe it was 12 foot don't quote me on that, compared to what other nations were using. So I went with a fairly average coincidence rangefinder. She wasn't known for being the most accurate at range. RDF, that's kind of a whatever option. Light shells, again, I believe I mentioned earlier, these were kind of an experimental gun. They actually were using captured German ordnance, looking at their light shells, and decided to try to replicate something. Ammo complement, couldn't find anything. I was looking around, I couldn't really find anything about how many shells she carried per turret, so I'm just going standard for now. And torpedo protection, she had a double hull bottom, and a fairly advanced for her era torpedo protection that didn't involve getting the not floats on the outside, but the bulged hull. So I went with torpedo 3. Probably feels pretty relevant. Pretty good torpedo protection. Yeah, so we're going with something like that. Currently find anything much about auxiliary engines or not. I went with just with the basic, just because that does get you water pumping. I'd assume a 1920 ship would be able to pump water. And an advanced propeller shaft 2. This one's probably debatable. She was unique in that she had a twin shaft system, and was noted for being very agile at lower speeds. So I figured, okay, we'll go advanced shaft 2. Lastly, she had geared turbines. And as far as oil, I didn't really notice anything mentioning if she was coal, semi-oil, or oil, but looking at her date, I would assume she was an oil-fired ship. Lastly, speed, 23 knots. I went with long range on this design. The minimum is now average, or medium range. But one of the things was she was actually the first treaty battleships, and they were designing them within, I think, a 35,000 ton standard weight, which is basically without fuel and ammunition, things like that. And then they're allowed a long or heavy load, which was then, depending on the numbers, between 38 and 40,000 tons. So we've about hit the long or heavy weighted tonnage. So I figure that's about right, because we do have fuel on board, obviously. Barbettes, I didn't really worry about this too much. I could just go, I don't know, standard barbettes. Puts me over. Uses that less low touch. Doesn't really matter. I'm not too concerned. And Krupp Armor 3, I did see notes about non-cemented and cemented armor. So Krupp 3, reinforced bulkheads. She had some fairly strong bulkheads, and she did have some torpedoes. They were 24-inch, but because of the date, I believe I selected 1927 before her launch date. She's supposed to have like 24.5-inch, but 1927 in this game is only 22-inch. So I went with the largest I could, and there's a pair installed. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's going to be 2 of these ships against 2 of a German design, unless I missed up something going back and forth here. And let's see how this goes. I mean, we have she's very biased to the nose for sure, but you know, we'll see what happens. Oh, let's see here. German battleships. Interesting, too. Yeah. And they're behind me. Okay, we'll turn both ships around. We'll go with AP. Range should be about 17,000. Oh yeah, there's those guns already started. They did say they added more unique turrets, which... Oh yeah, look at those secondary turrets. That is a way more German design. Look at that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, and a super firing secondary there. Interesting. Very much a Dreadnought. Let's go 2 times speed here. Our turrets are kind of slow, but they're swinging around. Ranging shots out. Again, today I have the Hearts of Iron 2 soundtrack playing in the background for fun. And we currently still have all 9 guns on target. Look at the lead ship. Alright, so we've already taken some 13-inch hits. Wow. Stern deck extended, mid-deck pin. Wow, they are pinning right through the deck. What's our range to target? 16 kilometers. That's impressive. Well, we have, oh, what is it? 6-inch at mid-deck, so about a 12-inch. Interesting. Okay, so the Nelson, which is actually in the rear, that's kind of odd to me, but whatever. Okay, we'll go something like this, angled. This C turret, or X, depending on which documentation you read, definitely has some poor field of fire, but does allow us to bring a lot of fire to the front, at least in an angled position. Alright. Bow belt extended, partial pins. So yeah, we're taking more hits to the actual belt structure. So looking here, yeah, belt extended, mid belt partial pin. Okay, so it might still be these three in this ship design, in which case these two are protected by the main belt. Another bow deck extended, that one is in the extended location, so it's these three. So from about this position here is the belt, to this position right here is the actual belt of the ship. Interesting. Okay, so it doesn't quite match up with those breaks. Actually, you might call that, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, it's kind of right in here. So maybe with this seam. So this is the actual belted structure. Interesting. Okay. Stern deck extended. Yeah, it's definitely deck extended. Makes sense. All right. Got distracted. Hey, it's new ship design. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we're still returning fire. Have we actually landed any hits? Stupid distracted. 16-inch hits. Mid deck. Bow extended pins. So we are replying. That's for sure. Wow, they have opened up with hell. I guess it's all their secondaries. Boy, they are very German here. 8-inch hits, 16s, and I don't think our paltry 6-inchers, no, they haven't even opened up yet. Interestingly, I was reading, they actually did not, or try to avoid using this last turret if they were firing to the rear in peacetime, as it caused too much damage to the superstructure. The shockwave, the blast, could cause damage to the wood and could knock out the windows. They actually spent quite a bit of time, apparently, trying to develop new window technologies, different layers and such, to try to keep them from exploding every time the rear turret or the center turret fired. So I thought was kind of interesting. Hey, we got a bounce. Doing okay so far. We just lost the secondary turret, which, you know, I'm not surprised considering they only had an inch of armor, so hey, at least it didn't detonate. We are under a barrage of fire here. Both ships, yeah, fairly light for damage. Speed of these ships, depending on how much they're loaded, seem to be between 24 and 23 knots. So I went with the lower option there. We've damaged the lead ship about the same. I haven't finished identifying it just yet. Oh, I love that ripple fire on those secondary turrets. That is something. There's the Nelson and the Bulwark. At about an 8, just shy of an 8%. Yeah, hovering there. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. We're running a coincidence rangefinder, so a closer engagement is going to help our accuracy. The Hagen. So they are more heavily armored. Maximum bulkheads. Fires are not going to do that much. They have a larger tonnage. Numerous 13-inch. With about the same amount of ammo. So they actually have fairly low out of that. Interesting. And that super firing is a 7. 8-inch casemates, and these are 4-inch guns? Interesting. Okay, unexpected. Yeah, they should be twins, yeah. Half a knot faster. Yeah, I'd say, except for gun caliber, they have the advantage. That said, we're getting to close the engagement at an angle because of our all-forward armament, and it makes it a little bit easier for our main belt to actually bounce, which is, you know, quite nice. And as we get closer, we're just getting more accurate. That said, we are definitely taking some fires here. I maybe should have gone for many bulkheads. I normally do, but, well, you know, sometimes you get so distracted by looking at the tech specs of the ship, you kind of forget about certain standard quality of life things, but it's still not bad. You're staying fairly wide open for whatever reason. Might detach you because you're kind of being odd. We'll see. Is it just me, or is that ship kind of sliding sideways the way it looks, relatively speaking? Not sure. We can go in just a little bit more. I hate making all these tiny little course corrections, but in guns. Chance to pin that ship. Oh, let me see. Ricochet chance is low. Pretty decent chance to pin. Yeah, we'll just keep on going. Keep on keeping on. Oh, our little secondaries, as I've started opening up, they're doing basically nothing. Just a tiny secondary armament compared to what those guys are pumping out. I mean, they are keeping us burning pretty much continuously. Yeah, we got fires everywhere. And our accuracy is not really getting us any place, it seems. I'm checking towers. So our tower is starting to kick in now. A little bit maybe. We're closing. We've got an 18% chance to hit. So do they. So they're running the same technology, more or less. This is definitely a pickle of a fight for sure. Can go in a little bit more. We're still burning everywhere. Do they have torpedoes? No, they do not. Aha! So we have some balance lances. Excellent. Come on, give me a good pin. Good deck. Hey, there we go. Mid-belt penetration, finally. Rudder damage and 1 damaged. There you go, that was a big meaty hit. We'll definitely take some damage though, but I think we'll have this first. Again, we're burning, but we're doing okay. And a little bit more yet. I mean, they're cutting across, so we're always basically going to have to make some course corrections. Let's angle back the other way. I think I'm fine for now. And their 4-inch guns have started tapping out, too. Look at that wall of fire. I'd say that is glorious. Good job, Germany. That said, this is pretty cool. It's nice being able to build a ship like this now. It's a little bit more interesting. Or just different. We can't yet build a quad design, so we have some French battleships that are kind of lackluster yet. But that's okay though. Maybe we can do some lower tech dreadnoughts to see what we get. The Hagen is getting very beaten up at this point. Average ricochet chance. Yeah, keep pumping the AP. Actually, it's starting to turn to an auto bounce now. Getting close. Go HE. Hey, perfect timing. Yeah, you're burning everywhere now, aren't you? I mean, maximum bulkhead, but still. The chance is average. The angle's starting to mellow out now, so we'll go back to AP. It is kind of gimmicky that you can switch while the rounds are hot in the barrels, but you know. Now let's range of our torpedoes 12.8 kilometers, so we'll probably do a drive-by here in a moment. Oh, look at that cross-eyed firing. Where are you guys even shooting? Yeah, that ship is getting wrecked. Structure's about done. He's taking some pretty critical damage. Angle in a little bit more. We're getting a little too flat of an angle. Let's slow down a little bit. Patch notes did say they've changed how these things slow down, so I'm kind of curious. Got a very good chance to hit. A little Rixie chance. We can rip her apart, provided we don't skip off the deck, which, you know, happens. Fire and flooding times 4. Whoa, yeah, that ship's going down now. Oh, look at that. Hello, say hello to the Nelson. Is my rudder jammed, or is it just... Oh, she's doing the detach thing. Detach, detach, detach. You turn hard. Well, you... Don't do that. I was going to say, why is she overcommitting to the turn? Oh... Yep. Fire and flooding, good pin. Bow belt extended. Getting good pins. Definitely, damage model definitely feels different, that's for sure. You can tell that they've changed it up a little bit here. You see this ship's having some difficulty maintaining speed. You're making it happen though. Here we go. Oh, I should probably go for a ram. That would be glorious. It'd be so dumb. Nah, we're not gonna catch. We're not a very good angle for it. This is like some Battlestar Galactica stuff I'm having flashbacks to. You know, the Galactica and the Pegasus. Busy wailing on a on a base star. Oh, they had some fantastic episodes in that show. The ship's getting wrecked. We're so short range that we're just riddling her. Engine damaged. Floodings, fires, cats and dogs. Ammo detonation. Oh, yeah. Once again, the British prove superior. Aggressive torpedoing. You go aggressive torpedoes. Here, hard starboard. Let's see if you can't get a torpedo out, maybe somewhere in there. Imagine you should. Ammo detonation, fire and flooding. It's probably going to go down before you even get the torpedoes off. Another ammo detonation. Ripping that ship apart. And she's sinking too. Cool. So yeah, the Nelson. We were a little bit under armored, a little bit bigger guns, but fewer. Yeah, it worked out pretty good though. We definitely had the firepower advantage because they had what, 10 gun broadside of 13 versus our 9 gun broadside of 16. So yeah, I'd say this ship worked, and the 4-weight offset didn't really seem to hurt things too much. I'd have to do more digging in here to see exactly how much, see where and how that hurts it. But I wish they'd throw an actual range in here. It's bugging the heck out of me. I know it doesn't matter, but it will eventually. Anything else in there? No, they didn't add anything else in there. Oh well, that's alright. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely had a lot of fun with this one. It's, I don't know, just pretty cool being able to do some of this stuff. It's just, yeah. I mean, they've come quite a ways in the short time I've been playing the game, and I'm definitely excited to see where they go. I hope we get soon to be able to start playing with the actual campaign, just to see where they're going with it. I'm just curious how much of a replacement this can be for the waves eventually, or not. You know, it just depends which direction they go. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.